Today on r/entitled parents. Entitled family demands I give them their dog. For context, I started working part-time in a charity kennel where we rehome dogs from the pound. Usually there's just two of us working, me and the kennel manager, K. The kennel itself is composed of 3 small buildings where we keep dogs and a fence with a double gate at the front. One of the buildings stretches just outside the fence with a small window looking straight at one of the dogs. On this day we had received a cabinet donation that someone had left out in their garden. Since we had some use for it, Kay asked me to wash and scrub it since it was filthy while she walked the next dog on the list, so I grabbed my earbuds and got to work disassembling and scrubbing it in the courtyard, catching up on the latest Reddit reading podcast, when in my periphery I see the entitled dad, ED and kid, EK. They had apparently just walked up and were looking into the open kennel window, squeaking a ball at the dog inside. I take out my earbuds and this conversation ensues. OP, can I help you? ED, we're here to pick up our dog Spot. OP? Sorry, we don't have any dogs named Spot here. EK, but he's right there, we can see him through the window. He looks exactly like he did on the listing, give us our dog now. OP, like I said, we don't have any dogs called Spot here. That's Jess. Are you sure you're at the right place? ED, yes, this is the address we were given. OP, okay, who did you talk to? What's the name of the company or person? ED, I don't know. OP, okay, I don't think I will be able to help you. Why don't you wait for my manager to come back in around 15 to 20 minutes? She'll be able to sort you out. ED, okay, we'll wait. And they walked off. I put my earbuds in and continued working. Not even 10 minutes later, the EK comes back with his phone in his hand. I take out my earbuds and he tells me his mum, EM, is on the other end and wants to talk to me. EM, why are you keeping our dog away from us? Let me talk to Vanessa. OP, hello to you too, I'm sorry, we don't have any Vanessa working here, nor in the office associated with us. EM, Vanessa told me to come here, this is the address we were given, so stop bullshitting us and just give us our dog. OP, I told you, no Vanessa works here. We don't have any viewings organized for today either. What's the name of the company you're looking for? EM, we organized it with X Charity, why are you making this so difficult? OP, miss, we're not affiliated with X Charity at all, you have the wrong place. EM, stop lying, my kid saw the dog through your window, this is the address we were given and we'll get our dog today. At this point I see my manager rounding a corner and just tell the lady to talk to her, since she'll be able to help her more. I walk up to my manager, give her a really quick summary, an apology for what's about to come, and hand over the phone. I didn't hear the conversation, but I was later told that she had a similar conversation in a very argumentative tone with the lady on the line. She doesn't take BS and told her to tone it down so they can figure this out, and they eventually got to the conclusion that the family were looking for the kennels on the other side of the parking lot. The father and kid walk off, no apology or anything. A few minutes later I see my manager glued to the fence, and she calls me to come watch with her. Looking to the other side of the parking lot, we see the family walking out of the other kennel with their new dog Spot. Spot was a smallish Shih Tzu, Jess is a massive Shiba Inu Staffy mix. Confused looks were shared with my manager. For our next story. Entitled, Mother thinks her son can freely block the mini-golf to others because he is little. Hey everyone, first time posting here as I just had my first entitled parent experience. A few weeks ago, me and my girlfriend, both in our mid-20s, went to a hotel for vacation. The hotel had a mini-golf located within its grounds, and the mini-golf area itself was freely accessible to all guests. However, in order to get the clubs and balls you had to pay a small extra charge. Me and my girlfriend decided we should try it out, so I rented out the equipment from the lobby and went to play. As we were progressing through the holes, we noticed that there was a mother with her son, about 4 to 5 years old maybe, at the mini-golf area, with the little kid playing with his toy car on some of the golf fields. We didn't mind at first, because he was playing away from the holes where we were, but after a while, we noticed the kid was sort of following us, always playing on the previous hole we just cleared. His mom was just sitting on a bench nearby, occasionally looking up from her phone to check on him. This lasted for a few holes until at one point, the kid went ahead of us and started playing at the hole that we just got to. We waited a little, hoping that he'd go away, but even after a few minutes he continued to play there. I called out to his mom, politely asking if he could tell his kid to let us play here. She replied, but he is just a little boy, do you have kids? I told her no, we don't. Then you will understand my situation when you will have a kid. And she kept talking on and on about how he is just a little boy and I should understand her situation. I told her that's okay, but we'd still like to play here and her son is blocking us. She finally stood up and grabbed her kid, but as she was taking him away, she still kept repeating that he is just a little boy. I know this is a short one and not as outrageous as many of the other stories here, but is it such a hard thing to tell your kid not to bother others? Let's dive into our next story. My 40 female toxic dad who traded his family for a gold digger demands to live with me. My 40 female parents are divorced because my dad cheated. If you want the full details, I posted the story in relationship advice a few years ago. I don't know if I'm allowed to post links to other subreddits here, but you should be able to find it on my profile. I guess you could consider this an update. But the short version is, my mom found out my dad was cheating and started divorce proceedings. As a result, my dad got vindictive and allowed and encouraged his mistress to get vindictive towards my mom. When his mistress broke up with him, he tried to come crawling back to my mom, who shut the door in his face, and he spent the whole divorce process lashing out at my mom, me, and my other siblings and our kids, to the point where we all had to go NCE. Anyway, the divorce was finalized. Dad and his mistress have been on again, off again. They had a kid together. There was some drama where he denied the kid was his, but he got a paternity test done and it turns out it is his. Anyway, he showed up at my door a few weeks ago and told me he was going to stay with me. Not asked. Told. And not just that, but he told, not asked, that while he was here, my husband and I needed to move into the guest room so he could have our room because it has an ensuite. And you know he needs that. As you can imagine, I put my foot down. Hard. I told him after everything he did, how dare he darken my doorstep, and worse, not even to apologize, not even to ask how I am, or how his grandkids are, but to dictate to me that he is staying in my house. I'm normally a pretty calm, go-with-the-flow kind of person. But I just lost it and screamed all the things he did to us. The vindictive attacks. The way he used my kids as weapons to get back at me. The smear campaigns he led against my mom. He screamed back, when you came crying home after your breakup with ex-boyfriend, I let you stay in my house, eat my food, moan about in your room. I let you come home. I didn't act like a complete B-word. To be clear, the breakup he's talking about was when my former fiancé cheated on me with multiple women. Oh, and also, for anyone who hasn't read my previous post, it's not his house. It's my mom's. And he tried to steal it from her during the divorce to give to his bratty mistress. I just shut the door on him. Long story short, police had to be called as my dad refused to leave. I found out today why he tried to stay with me. His mistress has been bleeding him dry with child support and alimony. I think they've broken up for good. He's had to sell every asset he had, and now he's broke. I know this because he's staying with my uncle, his brother, and he called me to let me know. The saddest and funniest part about all this is how my dad won't stop talking about how heartless and ungrateful I am to anyone who will listen, and he is posting passive-aggressive posts on his Facebook about how you do everything for your kids, but then they throw you to the curb. This whole ordeal over the last few years has been hard. I've been going to therapy and have slowly come to terms with the fact that my father isn't the man I thought he was. And likely he never will be. But it brought back a lot of hurt. I can't believe he would do this. I just don't understand how somebody can do this, can behave this way. But it is what it is. But anyway, my dad, the entitled vindictive little a-hole everyone. Never thought I'd be able to say that, but there we go. Our last story for today. EM keys my car over a handicapped space she couldn't park in. This happened roughly 2 weeks ago. Me, female 16, and my mother, female 36, were pulling into a car park for a Home Bargains. To my non-UK readers, this is a large-ish shop that sells basically everything for cheap. We drive a brand new convertible BMW. This is important. My mother pulls into a disabled parking space and we get ready to go into the shop. This is the last available disabled parking space in the car park. For some context, my mother has issues with her back and can't stand or walk for very long without serious pain, so we have a disabled badge to park close to shop entrances. As I'm getting out of the car and walking around to the boot trunk to grab some bags, a woman, the entitled parent of this story, starts yelling at me saying that we can't park there. Conversation goes like this. EM, excuse me. Me, turning around and making a confused face. EM, you just took my parking spot. We didn't, she was behind us when we pulled in. Me. I wasn't driving, sorry I guess. EM. This spot is for disabled people and parents with children. You need to move now, I have children in the back. Me. I have a disability badge in the car, we're allowed to be here. EM, you don't look disabled in the slightest, these are only for disabled people. Me. Yes, my mom is, she cuts me off shouting. EM, people like you disgust me, you think you're entitled to park anywhere you want, you need to move your stupid effing car before I call the police. At this point she is out of the car and she's getting very close to me and shouting in my face. Up until now my mother was waiting in the car for me to grab her a trolley to lean on while we shop, However, when she heard the shouting, she came out of the car. Mother shouting, hey, that is a child, why the EF are you getting in her face? My mother used to work in a bar, she can be very scary when she wants to be. EM, you can't park here, this is for disabled people and parents only, you entitled B-word. I have 2 kids that are hungry, I need this spot. Mother, I have such and such medical condition, ND for privacy. I am allowed to park here, and it is none of your effing business. And she goes to grab the badge and show it to this woman. EM still shouting while my mother is getting the badge, women like you feel like they can do anything they want, you're effing vile. In this I think she was referring to my mother's appearance in the brand new car. My mother is very pretty for context here, and she probably assumed we were very well off, which we aren't. I've walked away at this point, a few more words were exchanged while my mother flashed her the badge that I didn't fully hear. She gives us a dirty look and calls my mother a tramp as she's driving off to park somewhere else, and we go into the shop and carry on with our day. A boy around my age, the EM's son apparently, comes up to me and my mother while we're shopping and is profusely apologizing for what happened. We tell him it's not his fault and just walk away. We're in the shop for about 40 minutes and we come out to see that the passenger side door of our car has 3 huge scratch marks in it. This tramp keyed our car because we parked where we were allowed to. We straight away connect the dots and my mother goes inside to speak to the security team while I phone the non-emergency police line to report it. Fast forward a few days and we get word from the police that they identified the woman who did it from security feed of her doing it and her license plate number on the feed of the argument between her and us too. The Home Bargains police cutout saves the day yet again. Seriously, how stupid was she to do it in broad daylight in front of a busy shop? And according to the police's info, she denied everything and is persistent in saying we did it ourselves to frame her. We're currently awaiting a court date for vandalism and the insurance payout to get the car fixed. We have the security footage of her actually scratching the car up as evidence, so I think we'll be fine in both court and insurance terms. We'll update soon if anyone is interested. Also just occurring to me after writing this, her son had to be at least 15, and parent and child bays in the UK are usually limited to children under 5, so she couldn't even park there if she wanted to. And those are all the stories we have for today. See you tomorrow.